Back, boxing fans. It's funny that some people blatantly lie time and time and time again. The truth is, this individual consistently talks about how black fighters need to do more. Yet, year after year, time after time, I keep exposing this lie, this false truth. The fact that a Tank Davis can fight nobody, whereas Canelo Alvarez gets criticized regardless of who he faces. The fact that when Devin Haney fights a Linares or a George Kambosos, it's revered. Yet when Lomachenko fights a Linares, it's a shit fight, it's a cherry pick. When he's scheduled to fight Kambosos, it's also a cherry pick fight. And we see it once again. Now he's trying to act like Lomachenko now, as a non-champion, fighting Kambosos is a cherry pick. Yet Lomachenko is coming off of a loss. But yet this guy has no problem when other fighters fight random opponents who've done less in their career than George Kambosos have done. George beat Lopez. George was a 3-belt unified champion. The only guy who beat George was Devin Haney. You're going to hype up an O'Shaquie Foster who lost to guys you don't even know, who you've never even seen fight. You're going to hype up other dudes fighting for vacant titles consistently. And you hype them up as if they're doing something great. And then with Inoue, you say, oh, he's just chasing titles. Yet when Haney talks about going to 147 to fight Conor fucking Ben, you make it sound like he's chasing greatness. When he's being talked about fighting Mario Barros, he's chasing greatness. Oh, so Haney moving up to 147 to fight two mediocre opponents is somehow chasing greatness. Yet he still wouldn't do what Inoue had done. It would still only be his 3rd weight division, whereas Inoue's already been through 4 weight divisions, and sooner or later, he's going to be in his 5th weight division. And if he wins a title in his 5th weight division, he's going to join an elite group of fighters in history to be 5-weight world champions. It's an elite group. And no matter how much you try to dismiss or hate on him or downplay it and say he's only chasing titles, he's done what those other 5 fighters that have 5 weight divisions have never done. Become undisputed. Floyd never did it. Pacquiao never did it. Leonard never did it. Hearns never did it. Duran never did it. Those guys never became undisputed champions, right? I mean, maybe Duran did, but it was not in the 4-belt modern era, so it's a little different. I think there was 2 belts when he was a lightweight champion. But, so Inoue's done something none of those fighters have done. And then he's done it twice. The same as Bud Crawford. Yet you look for ways to criticize him, saying he's chasing titles. But then you revere Devin Haney, potentially fighting Mario Barros, a guy who literally would be elevated to the WBC champion without beating anyone. Or Conor Ben, a guy who doesn't even have a fucking world title. So literally he'd be fighting who? A top 10 opponent who got caught fucking on the juice. But you're okay with that. Yet you criticize other fighters for being on the juice consistently, but you're okay if Haney fights Conor Ben, right? This is the kind of hypocrisy you see from dudes like this, fuckboys like this. Now he comes out with this video saying anti-black boxing fans making up lies. What lies am I making up? You can go back and listen to his videos and see him consistently downplaying Lomachenko challenging George Kambosos, you know, downplaying that fight. And now he says, well, when Devin Haney did it, George Kambosos was at an elite point of his career. Now Lomachenko's doing it, and he's just come off of back-to-back losses. Yeah, back-to-back losses to a guy you have number 2 on your pound-for-pound list. No other fighter you support has fucking fought a pound-for-pound fighter twice, win, lose, or draw. Nobody you support has done that. But yet, George did it. He lost both of those fights, as we knew he would. You can go back and watch my predictions of those fights back then, and I told you that Devin Haney would beat George Kambosos. But the truth is, this is consistent. This hate and narrative-driven bullshit from channels like this guy. A guy who praised Errol Spence for fighting Mikey Garcia. A guy who jumped up 2 weight divisions, right? Yet he didn't give Golovkin any credit for fighting Cal Brook. He didn't give Canelo any credit for fighting Amir Khan. He didn't give Lomachenko any credit for fighting Rigo. Where's the consistency? Be like me. I understand if you're fighting a guy jumping up 2 weight divisions, you're probably not going to get much credit because you're supposed to win. The only problem is if you lost, like when Canelo Alvarez jumped up 2 weight divisions and fought Kovalev and beat Kovalev, jumping up 2 weight divisions. Yet he got no credit for doing what no other fighter has done. Oh, sorry, you can talk about Adrian Broner. Ignore Inouye, who did it as well, right? That's the thing with guys like him. They pick and choose the information they use. He highlighted the fact that Broner jumped up 2 weight divisions, but then he ignored the fact that Inouye did it. Then came out with a video afterwards and downplayed Omar Narvaez. Omar Narvaez is a far better fucking opponent than Paulie fucking Malignaggi. He's a guy who has a way better career than Paulie Malignaggi does. I mean, give me a fucking break. The only person who destroyed Omar Narvaez was Inouye, not Donaire, a pound-for-pound fighter with one of the best left hooks in boxing. No. Whereas Paulie Malignaggi got destroyed by multiple fighters, right? Because he had no power, he wasn't a tough fighter, and he wasn't really a welterweight. He really was a smaller fighter than that. But whatever. The truth is, you can say I'm lying, but I'm not lying. You blatantly fucking tried to discredit Lomachenko when it was being talked about him fighting George Kambosos for 3-belt unified world title. After Lomachenko apparently agreed to all the stipulations, the same stipulations that Devin Haney had to agree to afterwards, yet people act like, you know, it was unfair that Devin Haney was put under these stipulations. But no one said that when Lomachenko was doing it and agreed to it, because that's the difference of double standards that guys like this have. If Lomachenko had agreed to that, he wouldn't have highlighted it and talked about how he was going for greatness, how he was going to fight in the guy's backyard 2 fights in a row, taking fucking B-side money. Of course, he wouldn't have said anything positive about Lomachenko, and you saw that in his last video. Basically trying to criticize Lomachenko for fighting George Kambosos. Yet this is a guy who fucking praises every single black fighter in humanity for fighting lesser opposition. Literally, lesser opposition. I mean, George Kambosos is a better fucking opponent than a majority of these middle-aged fucking, you know, never will be fighters that John Boxing ties himself to. Guys that will be lucky if they ever become world champions. George Kambosos not only became a world champion, he did something that many fighters have never done and will never do. Become a 3-belt unified champion and beat a legitimate top fighter, a fighter that many of these people now have on their pound-for-pound list in Lopez, right? Do I expect Lomachenko to beat him? Yes. But that's because I rate Lomachenko. You don't rate Lomachenko. You fucking have discredited him, hated on him, fucking for years, right? So now this is just another example of that. Literally, guys like John fanboyed Haney for beating Linares. Yet fucking Linares went the distance with him. Lomachenko fucking knocked Linares out years before Devin Haney fought him, when Linares actually was the top-rated lightweight in boxing. Not the Linares that fucking Haney fought, who fucking got knocked out by Lomachenko, went up to 140, got knocked out at 140, came back down in the weight, and then got beat by Devin Haney, right? But he still praised Devin Haney beating Linares. But now his energy is completely different with regards to Lomachenko, right? Because this George Kambosos is not that version of George Kambosos. Well, that fucking Linares was not that version of Linares. You had no problem fucking with that. That Jojo Diaz was not that version of Jojo Diaz that beat Tevin Farmer at 130 pounds and became a world champion. The Jojo Diaz you fought was a guy who was a much smaller fighter, shouldn't have been fighting at 135, and that's been exposed consistently since he's been at this weight. He has one quality win against Fortuna, which was a very close competitive fight, and literally has fucking lost every single other fight he's been in with, including getting his ass beat from pillar to post by fucking William Zepeda. You won't rate William Zepeda. You rate Frank Martin ahead of him. Yet, according to you, a victory over fucking Jojo Diaz is a great win, because that's what you said when Haney did it. But yet you won't even recognize that win for William Zepeda. And now you fucking talk about, oh, you know, if Lomachenko was beating a William Zepeda, then I would praise him. Well, according to the IBF, the winner of Lomachenko and Kambosos needs to fight William Zepeda. And I guarantee you, you won't fucking give Lomachenko any credit if he beats Kambosos and then goes on to beat William Zepeda. You will just say he's ducking Shakur Stevenson. You won't mention fucking Tank Davis because we all know Tank Davis is literally ducking fucking everyone. And you're okay with that, right? Because this is the kind of fucking lowlife you are. You just lie from video to video. You come out with this fucking video, which is 2 minutes long, acting as if I'm lying. I'm not lying. Do you want me to go back and find the videos where you fucking discredited Lomachenko for trying to fight Kambosos? There's multiple videos. And then what will you do? You will cry to YouTube and say that fucking I'm using your content. I'm using your content. Yet you fucking have constantly used my content, my name, and my face in your videos. That's the kind of fucking liar and hypocrite you are. Right? It's not about what you say. It's about what you do. Time and time and time fucking again that exposes you. Doesn't expose me. Because everybody that watches fucking boxing knows what I'm saying is true. You discrediting Lomachenko for fighting Kambosos while praising fucking Haney for fighting him shows your double standard. You praising Haney for fighting Linares, yet shitting on fucking Lomachenko for fighting Linares proves your double standard. This is just the way you are. You're fucking full of shit and you're a complete liar who's consistently going to fucking always make it out as if the black fighter is doing more and has to do more, and then you're going to fucking consistently criticize the non-black fighter that he's doing less and always does less. Everybody sees it. That's why you're a joke on YouTube, John. A complete fucking joke who no one takes serious. And that's why the only people who follow you are a bunch of fucking scumbags like yourself. Stay tuned fucking to part 2. This is fucking Donkey of the Week, John Boxing once again. I don't even need to play your fucking content because it exposes itself just from me explaining the stupidity. I'm lying. Bullshit. I'm not fucking lying. I'm telling the truth, and I can give many examples of it, as I have today.